Round 7 of the Wiesmann FIBT Men's Skeleton World Cup at a snowy Koenigssee in Bavaria, heading into the second of two heats, and Martin Stucos, the World Cup leader, with a massive advantage over closest rival Frank Rommel. But the snow could have a part to play. Into the dying stages, still snowing hard. Thomas Stucos, second in the World Cup standings, fifth after the first run, tied with John Montgomery, the Olympic champion. Montgomery had had two good runs, finally starting to get his sled and his technique to work together. Thomas Stucos looking as clinical and precise as the first run, 0.08 of a second in front. Could he find his way onto the podium? Alexander Tretyakov, the Russian rocket, was outstarted by the race leader Martin Stucos. He would need an epic start and a great drive to put himself at the top of the pile from third place in the first heat. Little wavy in the Kreisel and mistakes below it, nearly pitching him off the sled. Then the Tretyakov's lead was going to be a narrow one if it existed at all at the line. He still held an advantage over Thomas Stucos, but surely a chance of victory had gone unless there were mistakes. Top three included Germany's Alexander Krökel. He was tied with Tretyakov in Heat 1. The 2011 Junior World Champion put in a really good first run, but could not match that performance second time down the snowy ice barn. And for the Germans, disappointment as he dropped behind Tretyakov by a major margin. The Russian was in the lead with 2 to go. The two remaining sliders have won the last 5 races on this track. 2 World Cup races out of 3 for Frank Rommel. He's the only man to have beaten Martin Stucos in the last 2 seasons. Could he do it here? Well, not if he couldn't stay in front of Tretyakov was the simple answer, and it looked as though the German was going to struggle all the way to the line. Tidying it up at the bottom, he just squeaked in front, opening up a quarter-second margin in the final 3 turns. Martin Stucos, though, had a big margin from Heat 1, and that wild and extravagant first run allowed him to be a little more conservative in Heat 2. Didn't get the 120 km/h speed into the Kreisel of Heat 1, but he did enough to stay well in front of Frank Rommel. He won the last World Cup race and the World Championships in 2011 on this track, and now he has claimed victory once more. 6 wins from 7 starts, and that one meant a lot to the Latvian slider. Was a half-second margin very nearly over Frank Rommel and Alexander Tretyakov, and Superman from Latvia still leads the World Cup rankings. Brother Thomas in second, Alexander's Krökel and Tretyakov battling for the 3rd spot as they head to Eagles in Austria.